Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 20, Scars. This episode, like, you can't make Raina right. You know, in this episode, that was definitely a huge thing that happened by the end. And it's Raina, so, like, the entire episode was, like, this was pretty much the big moment of them kind of showing Raina off. Like, she's really coming to her power. She's, you know, we find in this episode, she's having a ton of visions over and over again. And eventually she has the big vision, which is S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be shooting missiles at us. There's going to be, you know, debris and fire raining down upon us because S.H.I.E.L.D. wants to attack. And we can't let Jiaying talk to S.H.I.E.L.D. because that's how everything goes crazy. And the funny thing about that is, one side of it was like, okay, she had this vision. I honestly didn't think she was lying about the vision, but she was obviously trying to take over at least, or, you know, she really thought that she was the one who should do it because she is that's like her personality. And I think that was the main drawback for her character. If she wasn't that person, and, you know, she said, like, we can't let Jiaying talk to her, and she mentioned somebody else instead of herself being, like, the person who should totally take over, it probably would have been fine. Like, they probably would have listened to her instead of finding her manipulative, because that's who she is. They have this info from Cal. They have it from S.H.I.E.L.D. These are really the two people who know the most about her. And it was just crazy. Like, it could have worked. She could have had things happen the way she wanted them to. But I think her mistake was really being her. Like, she had, like, true intentions to help everyone else by saying, like, hey, this is what's happening. We can't let Jiaying do it. But putting yourself in Jiaying's place instead of anybody else who'd been there, anybody else really, because I think everyone's been there longer than she has, like her and S.H.I.E.L.D. Or, like, aside from S.H.I.E.L.D., everyone's been there longer than her. So it's like she could have mentioned anybody, and, you know, I think it could have worked, but instead she, you know, said, maybe I should be the one to take over, and I think that's where it fell apart for her, and ultimately that's where it fell apart for everyone, because, of course, we get the meeting. It's like, you know, they have this stuff happening with Coulson, and he decides to say, like, he wants to blend S.H.I.E.L.D. together, so they have, like, him as in Fury's position, and then everyone else is, like, the council now, and, you know, he agrees to the ideas that they've come up with. Like, okay, well, we need someone objective, so you guys are right. You know, I said I want this to be one S.H.I.E.L.D., so I'd be a fool not to take your advice. So, of course, Gonzalez goes in there, and he was actually being incredibly nice. I think everyone kind of had the same feeling as far as Gonzalez, because it's like, he's, you know, he was the leader of, like, you know, other S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's kind of gung-ho about stuff, and it seemed like that's what was going to happen. And, of course, they have, like, the little thing when he got the little red box, and it's like, is this a weapon or something? And he went in, and he had the greatest intentions, and I don't know, you know, maybe if he went in and it was, or if he didn't go in and it was Coulson, then it probably would have changed. I'm sure it would have been very different, because they would have known exactly who Coulson was because of everything S.H.I.E.L.D. said. But maybe it's just, you know, the fact that it was indexing. That was really the issue, is that, excuse me, they want to catalog the Inhumans. They want to catalog everyone and say, like, this is this person's ability, and if they're a threat, that's what we want to do. And that didn't seem to work for Jiaying. I understand that they have their secrecy and everything else, but it did seem like she just took it to an extreme level. I understand, like, her reasoning was definitely, why does, you know, people seeming to have the right to do certain things. But she was, like, quoting Whitehall, like, I think it was, like, development requires experimentation or something. As soon as she said that, I'm, like, freaking out. She seems all menacing and stuff. And, you know, she has this, the Terrigen crystal. And as soon as she mentioned that they melted it down, but the metal's still in there, I was like, I hope she's not about to touch him with it. And, of course, she just breaks it straight on the table. The smoke shoots out, or the mist shoots out. And, unfortunately, Gonzalez is not one of them, and he gets killed off. And she shoots herself, and is like, this is war. And it's just like, why would she do that? Like, she could have, I know it would have sucked for sure to have everyone indexed, and it's not what they want in any way. But war is a million times worse, because people will die. Like, getting indexed is like, oh, I got a shot because they need some of my blood to catalog me. I'd much rather do that and have that option than my leader, takes us to war and acts like she was shot. So I don't know what to expect for this season finale. It is a 2-hour season finale, which is really cool. I'm glad they didn't split it up into 2 parts. I mean, that would have been sweet, but it's always cooler when it's just like, here's 2 hours of, season finale. So I'm really excited for next week's episode, but this one was just crazy. It's like, I could not believe she did that. She seems, every episode she always seemed so incredibly calm and calculating and like, this is what we need to do. This is, why we're here. This is what we want for our people, or this is what I want, as leader. And in this episode, it's like she almost threw that out the window because of kind of some of the info she got from Cal, like him saying that they would brand everybody, which he shouldn't have said that because that was probably just another step. And then Gonzalez talking about their scars and stuff, and he, got like shot in the leg or stabbed or whatever happened to him. And, she did have her organs ripped out of her and placed in jars. Excessively different. So, like, stuff was just kind of building up. It's like the info she got from Cal, Gonzalez comparing their scars, and then the indexing in general, which she obviously had a problem with forever. Like, she's known what indexing was for a while, and, she's always had a problem with it. So I was very surprised by the ending. I kind of thought it might happen because just the way they were playing it, and it's like, this is technically Raina's vision. It's like, I don't, like I said, I didn't think she was faking the vision. And I guess that was the point, was, to kind of make it seem like she was. But I honestly never thought she was. It was just that she wasn't. She did just screw up because she does have that just, like, innate feeling to want power, want more than she already has, and that's kind of what Cal says in the episode. So even though the vision was 100% true, she really did screw it up by putting herself in this grand position rather than, naming anybody else. Like, I would have put Gordon there. I mean, he seems like the second in command. He's the only one who can leave, so I'd say that definitely gives him like the second highest level of power in Afterlife. But she named herself, it's like, it should probably be me. And, just messed everything up. And now everything's come to fruition. Her vision is true. Jiaying kills off Gonzalez. She's, shoots herself and says they're going to war. We got Bobby missing now because apparently Kara and Ward are still working together. Kara was super pissed. Apparently, Bobby did something when she was still working for Hydra. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but I'm very excited to get some info on that. Like, it seemed like they were touching on sort of the thing that we get in a lot of cop shows, where it's like the deep cover sort of thing, where they have to take it a little bit further than they'd like to. And Bobby was really high ranking when she was a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, she was like one of their top security officers and stuff. Like, she was the one given the mission to kind of screen Simmons when she was actually working on, on Hydra, or pretending to work for Hydra. So she had a lot of power. She's had to do certain things to either reach that level or stay at that level. So maybe one of those things was being a part of indoctrination, at least for Agent 33. And, Kara definitely remembers that, and that's why they had the little fight on the Quinjet, which I thought was actually pretty cool. I enjoyed that fight. Bobby obviously is like way better than Kara is, though, because she kind of whooped her up. She slammed her into the little TV screen. The finishing move was just insane. She like grabbed onto the bars. She like spun around on the bars and kicked her twice in the head and just knocked her out. I was like, man, she kind of messed her up. Like, it didn't seem like it was much of a fight. She kind of just took her down. Like, she knocked the gun out of her hand, slammed the head, kicked her in the head twice, and she kind of took her down really fast. So it was kind of messed up, but she's been captured because, of course, Ward comes in, shoots her with the icers. So they're back together. They got Bobby, and she wants revenge on Bobby for whatever she did while Bobby was still kind of undercover at Hydra. So I do think we're going to get some interesting information about Bobby having to take some real serious steps. And I think they touched on that before in this season. I can't really remember because it's like, just in passing, like she mentioned random stuff and then they don't talk about it. So I do think we're going to get some interesting information in the next episode where we get to learn exactly what happened between Bobby and Kara, because Kara says she remembers, so she remembers something serious, and I have to assume it's the indoctrination thing. So I'm excited for that. We also got Mac quitting in this episode. He kind of showed how scared he really is, and we've definitely seen that ever since he was taken over. Even before that, I think he kind of showed that the supernatural stuff that happens in the series, whether it's bad guys or good guys, it's an issue for him. Like, it's something that he worries about a lot. It almost makes him paranoid. And in this episode, he showed that. I mean, he quit because of what happened with Coulson. Like, he was brought back from the dead, and he feels that the alien technology at some point is just going to destroy S.H.I.E.L.D. basically. So he, won't be a part of it. So I thought that was actually really interesting. Like, it showed how far his paranoia kind of went as far as everything that happens with the alien DNA, and how strongly he feels against that. Like, it was just really interesting. And he really showed that early on too, like when Skye first got her powers. And that was also, obviously before they revealed that they were working for like the other S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff. But it made sense. Like, he was one of the people that just always seemed like we're the ones who need protecting, because we're just normal humans. We should be scared, like we should be freaked out and worried and protected, because we don't have superpowers and stuff. And he, it kind of seems like that's continued on as far as the alien DNA stuff, and he doesn't really know what Coulson may or may not do in the future. But I'm not sure what they're gonna do with him. I feel like he has to be in the season finale, even though he quit. I think it would be a little like something would be left out if he wasn't at least in the finale, even though he quit. Like, if they didn't show where he ended up or something, or if it didn't tie into something random, for season 3. And maybe he won't be. It'll just be he'll come back sometime in season 3 or something like that. But hopefully we do get a little bit of closure for him, at least for this season, and it's not just he quit and it's no big deal, he's just gone. But you never know. It could just end up being that way, because not everything has to tie into something crazy. So I guess that's just me hoping for another, little cliffhanger by the end of next week. But I love this episode. I'm really excited for the season finale. The ending was crazy. I didn't expect that to happen. Bobby being kidnapped by Kara and Ward, I don't know what the heck they're going to do. They now have a Quinjet, of course, so they're going to be flying around. They can do whatever they want. I also love the opening. We got to see, I keep forgetting his name, but like Kenning or Coing or something like that, or Connick. I can't remember his name like at all. But we get to see the brothers like a year ago, and Coulson comes in when he was kind of starting up Theta Protocol, and they show the helicarrier and stuff like that. And we got to see a couple random bits and pieces of stuff from the Avengers, so that was kind of cool, where they kind of show what happens after the movie, and it's like, okay, well, you were hiding this huge secret, but alright, you saved a bunch of people. Like, you saved a bunch of people. And one of the coolest things that they did in this episode, I think, is something, and it's not exactly a spoiler for the film if you haven't seen it. It's just, like, at this point, everyone already knows this about the film, and it's just that Tony Stark made Ultron. Like, that's it. So that's the only real thing. But I love the fact that they did this, because a lot of people complain about the film. Like, it's, like pretty much all comic book movies, there's not a lot of accountability for stuff. Like, things happen unless it's like, specifically for the villains. The heroes aren't really held accountable for certain stuff. And I feel like they really touched on that in this episode, where Gonzalez mentions, like, this happened, like, Ultron happened because people trusted Tony Stark without, confronting him or anything. They just trusted him because they were on a team, and it was just like, yeah, we kind of just do whatever. So they just had 100% trust for him, and that's why he created Ultron. Like, he did that and almost got a ton of people killed because people trusted him, and he basically tricked them by being nice and this and that. And I thought that was so cool that they touched on that in the show, because that was kind of one of the big things people talked about for the film, where, like, they had their moments, but it didn't seem like people were really, really holding it against him. And Gonzalez definitely was, which he's dead, so I guess that doesn't make any difference anymore. But they touched on it, and I thought it was a great moment, and it was definitely one of his greatest moments in the series. This episode was actually really great for him. Because mostly, like, once he became, like, the guy who has, like, real S.H.I.E.L.D. and he was going against Coulson, I kind of hated him and everybody else except for Bobby, because she was obviously trying to stay in the middle and see things as they were. So, in this episode, I actually really did like him, and I think it was a great send-off for his character. Like, he touched on a great point that people talked about from the film, and, you know, kind of related that to how he feels that there should be a counsel for Coulson if he's gonna continue to be the director. And then, you know, we get the end of the episode where I think we all assumed he was gonna be kind of gung-ho about it, and he pulls out, like, the necklace and stuff, and he's, like, super nice and, like, this is all we want to do and help people. And it was a great send-off for his character. It sucks that it was a send-off, but it was definitely a great last episode for his character, I think. But like I said, I'm excited for the season finale, of course. I want to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And what do you guys think about Jiaying kind of starting this war off? Like, did you guys think that Raina was completely making up the vision? Did you guys think she was telling the truth but screwed it up, like I said? Or did you just think this was definitely, it was bound to happen? Like, you gotta have the Inhumans versus S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, what did you guys think about the start of the war, and, you know, what were your ideas for how it would end up starting? Because for me, it was like, I hope it doesn't happen. Maybe things changed a little bit, but unfortunately they didn't, and it's just going south now, and we're gonna have characters that we know versus other characters that we know, like Sky shooting, or well, not shooting May, but, like, you know, pushing her down with the seismic wave and stuff, and all sorts of craziness is about to happen, so who knows. But like I said, I want to know what you guys thought about the start of this, and maybe some of the things leading up to it. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.